So, hey, what's up, guys? So, I'm here in St. Peter's, the Apostle Catholic Church here in Las Vegas, doing my mini pilgrimage here during Pentecost. So, happy Pentecost! So, this is the first time I got to visit this particular church, and I should probably do like a rating system, like an arbitrary rating system about here. Um, let's go with architecture, right? So out of five, I'm gonna say it is a one, maybe a two. Okay, so lower than a three because the tabernacle is not at the center, and this is a new church. There's no reason why the tabernacle shouldn't be in the center. So again, also let me just say, I'm not trying to disparage this church. I'm just giving like what would be as pleasing to me, right? So obviously it's still a Catholic church and there's still valid sacraments and all that, right? But to me, I would want the tabernacle to be in the center, right? So out of one, so I'm gonna say one out of five. There is a dedicated adoration chapel, which is kind of cool. Giving maybe that's why I give it a two versus the one out of five. But again, being a new church, a newly built church, there is no reason why it should not be minimum three. But even aesthetically wise, it doesn't really hold well to me. As far as going into a vibe check and Catholic aura, I'm gonna give it a three. I think it does a pretty good job as far as a Catholic church goes. When it comes to the liturgy and music, not a big fan of drums. Right? They did traditional hymns, which is cool. They did a Kyrie, so, and then the priest presiding the mass did fine. I have some hesitancy when the altar girl folded. I forgot the name. It's the, not the veil, but like the sheet that holds the sacrament. I normally the priest or deacon folds it, and I do not like an altar girl folding it. So at base level, I'm gonna give it a three. I think they did a decent job. And then community, it was a packed church, right? There wasn't a lot of kids, but it seemed like a very lively community. So again, I'm going to give it a base level three. As far as bonus points, personal bias, there's a lot of Filipinos here, so I'm going to give it a plus one for Filipinos, right? And so again, overall, so you have um, a one for architecture slash aesthetic. You have three on liturgy, three on community, three on vibe check, and one on plus points for a Filipino community. In this, again, happy Pentecost, right? The priest did a great job as far as the sermon, the homily. He was talking about, since it's the Pentecost, it's speaking in tongues and all this stuff, and then what is the deeper meaning behind all that? And it is to be understood as to understand, right? And when we come to Christ, it's about not speaking in another person's language per se, as it was in Pentecost, but to understand them where they're at, meaning in their sorrow, in their joy, wherever their path is. That's how we spread the gospel, and I love that, like, as someone who does apologetics, how amateur as it may be, right? The idea is not to win souls. The point is, there's no point of winning an argument if it's losing a soul, right? And to have a conversation, meeting a person where they're at, totally resonates, right? And having a conversation in the moment and talking to that person where they're at is very important. So speaking to a person experience, totally understand that. That's great. And obviously, as someone who does podcasting, who does apologetics, that was a really great homily. And so overall, really cool. Glad this, and I had to do extra cuts and edits because last week I went to St. Joseph, my home parish, or partly my home parish here in Las Vegas, and I went to a non-denominational, the Redeem non-denominational church. My friend, I had to go with my coworkers because we only have one van to travel around. But yeah, and again, I had to do a second edit on that. But it was interesting. Of all the non-denominational, it was very much more liturgical. They did Apostles' Creed, they did communion, they did two readings. It was very liturgical in that sense. And so I will do a second video breaking that down. But overall, had a great opportunity here. I think it was awesome, and I'm going to continue doing my little pilgrimage. And hopefully, I can bring a coworker along so that they can experience the Catholic Church as well. And so, with that said, we're going to continue on this mini pilgrimage here in Las Vegas, visiting different churches. And so, yeah, thanks. And on to the next one.